I'm Erin G, and this is Alt Text. This week is another episode live from the floor of the Collision Conference in Toronto. My guests are Eric Garsleitner, co-founder and CPO of the social media app Wiser, and Kelly Rutherford, actor, entrepreneur, and Wiser investor. Eric is a German founder and graduated from the Philipp University of Marburg with a degree in business administration. He founded Wiser in 2019 with his cousin, Benjamin Boothman, with a goal to make knowledge and expertise more readily available. Wiser enables users to share content quickly with their community, answering questions to share their expertise. Kelly is an actor, best known for her portrayal of Lily Vanderwoodson in the CW Network's hit show Gossip Girl. She's also one of the earliest investors in Wiser, with the hope of cultivating a more productive and positive online community. With the hope of cultivating more productive and positive online communities. So please enjoy my conversation with Eric and Kelly. All right, so I am joined by Eric and Kelly to talk about this startup based out of Germany here at Collision Conference in Toronto. And so the startup is called Wiser. So Eric, you are one of the co-founders. Tell me all about it.
I'm really happy to be here today. Wiser was founded in Germany, but we are going all over the globe to find people that are aligning with our vision. And we founded it in 2019. Wiser is a social media app to share knowledge and to have meaningful conversations with like-minded, and that's why we're here on Collision today.
Mm-hmm. And so where did the idea come from?
I was in university, studied business, wanted to learn how to build companies, and I didn't actually learn how to build companies. I learned marketing techniques from 1996. And I don't want to put blame on any professors. They did an amazing job doing what they do, teaching typical educational teaching programs that they've been teaching for a long time. So at some point I decided to go to Silicon Valley and get out of my German bubble and experience different things. So I was part of the Draper University startup program in Silicon Valley, met so many interesting people and founders, and had so much on-topic experience that was shared with me that I learned so much just because of this actual experience other people had that I could actually put into my business, that I learned more in a half a year that I learned all the time in university. And I came back and I talked to my cousin Benjamin, now my co-founder, and we were sitting down and saying that can't be the status quo. There has to be something out there that is actually summarizing and getting these knowledge pieces together, this practical knowledge together, and is making it easy to access for everyone. And that's where the vision started, of making knowledge accessible for everyone. So you don't necessarily need to fly to Silicon Valley to find people that would share that knowledge with you. And furthermore, not only on the startup scene, but on all different kind of topics. And that's where this big vision came from, of sharing knowledge. We had a different approach back then. We shifted. So that's how it started.
And so you said you wanted to have meaningful interactions with people. What does that mean?
What that means is basically, currently you have a lot of amazing social media apps out there, and they all do what they do in their different niches. So you have Twitter doing text, you have Instagram doing video and pictures, and you have TikTok doing video that are really fast-paced, and that's all really amazing. But there's not really a place for content creators that share educational content to really find their audience and their niche. And I'm talking about really finding their niche and make it easy for them. And what we see is you create a podcast, and I'm really happy to be part of that podcast, but it's a lot of work.
Yes.
If we think about it. It's cutting it, it's inviting the people, getting the guests, and then making all those snippets for social media to promote it, to get your vision, to your audience and so on together. So why can we make that system easier for you? So you can basically invite guests. And that's what we are doing with Wiser. You basically invite guests, you create meaningful conversations with those guests, and you create an audience and basically, share knowledge on an app that is made for that.
Cool. And so, Kelly, you are an investor in Wiser. And so how did this relationship come to be?
They had, Eric and Benjamin reached out originally for me to be a part of the original idea. And then we met, because I really liked their original concept as well as the point to whatever we are now. And and I just really liked them. And I said, well, why don't I join you in this journey, because I really believe in it and I love social media, but I also know that after a certain amount of time it doesn't feel very nourishing. And so as much as I enjoy it in the moment and it's a great way to build a brand or to, share our lives, we aren't really sharing our knowledge and our expertise and, just more nourishing information and having conversations like Eric said that are meaningful with other thought leaders, and thought leaders that are sort of more verified and people that we can trust on a platform to say, oh, okay, this thought leader is inviting other thought leaders that they respect and admire, and therefore this is going to be a really interesting conversation. And from very diverse backgrounds. It can be anything from, because I know even as an actress, I get asked about so many different things that have nothing to do with acting, and I think it's wonderful to have an opportunity to have those conversations with other people that have been doing things for many years. It's sort of like being able to talk to the elders, so to speak, in your community like you used to, because it's very nourishing. There's a lot more there than just what you had for lunch and what you're selling and what you're marketing, which I think we're right now in such a time where we're being constantly marketed to and programmed in ways, and we're just like, oh my God. And to sort of find what you're looking for in the midst of all that. Whereas what I loved about Eric and Benjamin is their whole idea is really to make education and knowledge accessible to everyone. And that's exactly what I was looking for. So I was very excited and blessed to meet them.
Yeah, and I think that you can get some of these insights on Twitter, and business leaders tend to put out, their top 5 ways to, grow your business. But because there's just so much other noise, all of that gets is a distraction to like the actual useful information on these platforms, like buy lunch, for example. And so how do you see Wiser fitting into the general increasingly fragmented landscape of social media platforms? Like, are you thinking that maybe like it's always going to be separate, or that maybe there's a way to like integrate it into other platforms, for instance?
There are a lot of trends that actually help us grow right now. Twitter has their little thing going on, and there's LinkedIn that is shifting a lot into growth perspective. They want to grow their audience, they want to grow influencers on their platform, and they do it in a way that I'm not sure if it's sustainable in the future, because it's a lot of content that is put out to basically create views and reach, and it's not necessarily valuable content always that is put out. But I don't want to criticize. It's an amazing way that they're doing. They basically really skyrocket their user base right now. And that's a very amazing trend for us, because any social media app that is new on the market has to build on another social media app that is already there and that has the audience. And the social media that we are building onto basically is LinkedIn. So the idea here is you create content on Wiser, you create a 3-minute video, you post it into your panel chat. We can go into detail about what that is in a bit. And you can basically share it to LinkedIn. And what we do is we basically create out of the spoken word you said, we create an already AI-based LinkedIn post, but it's not like ChatGPT, some random facts taken from the internet, but it's basically what you've said in your words, summarized and structured in a post that you can share.
Right.
And that's been taking off quite well, because people can actually in 3 minutes and with 3 clicks create their new LinkedIn post. And that's one system that we're using to basically leverage an existing social media app. And to be honest, we are not going into direct competition with Instagram because the use case is a different one. You go
Right.
to Instagram to be numbed out, see what's going on with your friends, and put your brain off. Wiser is the place where you are still on the moment of, I want to learn something new, I want to get in contact with people, I want to grow, I want to be inspired by others, and I want to have access, and that's where you go in. And it could be on the way to the work, basically.
I feel like it's I'm getting the sense that it's very similar to like masterclass, but like in short, impactful videos rather than like, here's Steven Spielberg teaching you how to make a movie, right? Over like 10 different hour segments.
Exactly.
Masterclass, I think we are really different to that, to be honest. Masterclass, yes, the quality of the content might be it, and also the thought leaders, definitely there's a similarity. But Masterclass is a very simple system. It's the same simple system like university or schools. You have frontal teacher teaching
It's
you
a
something.
one-way
It's a
thing.
one-way street. And I don't believe in one-way street education, or we advisor, we don't believe in that. We believe in creating a way of driving curiosity to a certain topic and then diving into that topic and making this learning journey, that's how we call it, as frictionless as possible. So you start with a topic of, for example, I want to learn about AI. Where would I learn about AI now? I can do an online course, and it's always going to conflict with my private life. I could go out with my friends, drink a beer, or I do the online course. Beer.
No time.
Let's go beer. And on the same time, I'm spending so much time scrolling through TikTok and Instagram and getting all that content because the access is frictionless. And that's where we're diving in. So I would rather compare us to a smarter way to create podcasts easier and have them more short bite format.
Interesting.
And people like Steven Spielberg don't have the time, really. I mean, or even myself, I don't have, and I don't, Eric, we joke because they always test everything on me because if I can do it, anybody can do it. So it's the same thing. Like Steven Spielberg, he's brilliant in so many ways. And it's a place that someone like him could come, and it's so easy to put up content and to create content. And it's engaging. With your audience versus master classes, like you said, is more just sitting there listening to the information. Maybe you can ask a few questions. But this is also, his ability or our ability to invite other thought leaders to have conversations, which to me would be so much more fascinating to have Steven Spielberg with 5 of his friends having a conversation that may be very unexpected or unusual that we didn't know about, because there's so much information out there already that, I think what's interesting and fun and unexpected are the conversations that will be created that aren't typical media conversations or LinkedIn business conversations, or, there's so many creators that don't have LinkedIn profiles because they don't see themselves in that sort of way, right? And you don't share things, let's say, on a LinkedIn that you would share on this platform, which is, I think, a little more open and, more about, I always say to Eric, people ask me on Wiser from, they ask me about acting, but they ask me about entrepreneurship, about being a mother, about resilience, about how to deal with people. So there's much more there. It's much more expansive in terms of our ability to have broader conversation.
And so I assume you're also active on Instagram.
Yes.
And so from your perspective as someone who's making the content, how is it different in terms of ease and like not being overwhelmed with like responses? Because like from what I see, a lot of creators who are Instagram first, they're like, I can't even look at all these questions, I can't answer them all, and it's just like very overwhelming to them, and they get stressed out and have mental health issues because of the sheer volume.
Yeah. Well, I think first off, the content is much more nourishing to our nervous system on Wiser. So let's just start there. If somebody's asking me, a question about motherhood and I'm, answering, and it's super easy for me to upload and I can answer in my own time and I'm not worried about all these other things, then it's a much more like cool experience to have these days, which is why I love this so much, because I think Instagram has become a place to, brand yourself, everyone's like, I have this many numbers. It's like
Right,
somebody looking for someone with those numbers. It's become a data thing. You know, we're all trying to obviously keep up with that and stay authentic in that process, or for a brand or for whatever, you know. So it's just become something different. So this is, it's a different way of sharing, because you're sharing in a more sort of authentic, thoughtful, deep way, let's say. So I think when you're answering questions like that, it's different than putting up a post and holding your breath and thinking, is this going to cause a reaction? Are people going to like me? Are they not going to like me? And you know, did I airbrush it enough? You know, does it go with? So there's too many other thoughts around that platform, versus this platform is really so direct and authentic and expansive in terms of our consciousness and our knowledge and our awareness, and it's just so diverse. There's so many people with so much experience and wealth out there, that I think to be able to go to a place where those people, that it's easy for them to share content. It's not difficult. I think right now I'd have 5 YouTube channels if I had the bandwidth and knew how to do it. But like, who can do it? You know, you have to be some young, mostly, you have to either be like a real expert that's all you do is sit on YouTube all day and teach math, right? Or something like that. Or you're like a young kid who's out there having fun, jumping off this and doing this, and people just want to watch it because, like you said, it's entertaining. So it's a much more enriching experience, and you really will go to Wiser because you think, wow, this just feels good to me. This feels right.
Yeah.
And
We focused a lot on the user experience part of that. So what was really important from the beginning is that this overwhelmness feeling doesn't happen when you create the content. Basically, we figured out experts that have a lot of knowledge. They needed a little help to know what they should share about, because it's really hard to sit in front of a blank page and then now I'm doing a script on what I'm going to share. I know so much things. I learned this and this and this. When we start. So we give them the prompt to start by giving them a question. That was the first iteration of the product. But we built it in a way that you don't see all the questions in one big, table. You're super overwhelmed, but we give them piece by piece. And that creates this feeling of simplicity. And then the content creation is actually as authentic as it can be.
Yeah, it's spontaneous.
It's spontaneous, it's on the go, it's recording a video, sending the video. And what that does is creates a safe space for purity, because you can't fake yourself in front of the camera with a selfie video. You can't cut out stumbling, and that's made the way that we intendedly did it that way, so that everyone's seeing other people being natural and being authentic creates this feeling of safe space. And it's incredible how that have worked. And now the next product we are going to bring out in probably 1.5 months is going to add on to that and then bring that conversations to life that we've been talking about.
And so, what is that new product? Are you able to say?
Yeah, I can spoiler a little bit. I'm not gonna go too deep into detail.
Don't tell them the end of the movie. Okay?
I'm not gonna tell them. I'm just gonna do the trailer. It's basically an asynchronous podcast. You can imagine that like a chat, basically, and you can invite guests as a host to that chat, and every other people can follow that. So you're basically back and forthing a conversation with you and your hosts and your thought leaders you invited, and your audience and their audience can join and watch that. And it's a very interesting topic because you don't need to be live at a certain time in a day on the same spot with your audience. That will never work because your audience is on Collision on stage, so they can join your live podcast now. So
you're in a different time zone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're taking that out of the equation and we make it asynchronous. And that I believe is a really revolutionary way to do it, solving a lot of issues and bringing collaboration to creators that wasn't there before. And we see, I would say, big acceptance from the first beta test users we have. So
basically, I would go on there, record my 3-minute video, and then I'd tag you both?
Invite.
You would basically create a panel. We call it panel. You create a panel, you give it a title. You can create a panel for a week. It's going to be time limited for a week. So you invite your people, your guests, to the panel. You're the host, and you open the panel by recording a video, sending it in. And what we do, we create AI summaries out of that. So we make the access point for actually reading through the content easier for the consumers. They don't need to listen necessarily to all the video answers. They can basically see the summary, see, oh, that's interesting for me. I want to know what she talks about. Go in and consume. And you can expand it into any other topic. But basically, in the end, it's going to be a long short form podcast, interview, live panel, whatever you want to call it.
And it's great cross-branding because you can invite people that do many different things with many different followers that may not be your audience. So now you're inviting other people to sort of learn about other people they didn't know about. So in that way, it's really interesting. Yeah.
And so, Kelly, how did you become interested in tech? Is it something that's always kind of been in the back of your mind throughout your acting career?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been entrepreneurial, let's say that.
I mean, as an actor, you kind of are.
You are. You have to be. And I think for me, it was more Eric and Benjamin that I just really liked them. And I think they're amazing humans. And I love the concept because I was thinking about wishing there was a wiser, I think. And so when I met them, and they had this original concept, I said, oh my God, this is great because they really believed in education being universal for everyone. They believe in sharing knowledge and, who doesn't? I mean, we all want more of that. And I think we're learning more that way than we even are, like Eric said, in school, because it's, they teach you in a certain form in school, but this is sort of access to people that have already made all the mistakes or that, maybe did it a different way than they teach you to do it. So it's a different form of education that I feel there's not a lot of it out there, and especially by people that are all in one place and verified and inviting their friends. So, you have people talking about a bunch of stuff out there, but we don't quite know who they are. Some of them, but not all of them. But to have all those people in one place engaging with each other, I think is really the future of education. And especially if you can engage with them and ask them questions, that's even better. Yeah. And so what was it that drew you and Benjamin to Kelly there, Eric?
I think the concept in the beginning, because our concept, the vision was always the same, sharing knowledge. And we started by not going to the social media way. We didn't even come up with the idea back then. We said, okay, why don't we create master classes? It was smaller at that time. Master classes of people that are really well known or that have experienced amazing stuff, and we basically create a 15-minute to 30-minute series, cut it in 5 minutes to 6-minute episodes, and we launch our own streaming service. And it was crazy because Germany is different to America. So if you go out and tell you want to build a streaming service in Germany, everyone's going to tell you, never, that's never going to work. You're never going to reach those people. And everyone always told us we're not going to reach the people. And so the first thing we started, before even having tech or a product or anything, we built a beautiful website and reached out to a lot of people that we found interesting. And these were creators, these were people that were in sustainability, that were marine biologists, like from very diverse fields, and made a lot of contacts on the way. But I think the first connection with Kelly was something very special, because the first call that Benjamin and Kelly had, they already were vibing on a way. I think there's more to it than just the video that we would create. Maybe there's a partnership way that we can go together, and then basically we would put everything on one card. Met Kelly in St. Moritz. I know we had zero money on our accounts back then, and we drove down. It was we had 1 or 2 euros left, and we were sitting together in St. Moritz eating pizza and meeting her son, and had an amazing time and talked it through. And I think that was the decision then, where we said, okay, let's go that journey together, because our hearts in a way are aligned. We want to go to the same direction.
same destination.
Yeah, exactly.
Very aligned. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. I honestly can't wait to download it when I get home.
Thank you.
I'm very excited to check it out now. Kelly, Eric, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me here at Collision. I know that it can be really hard to make time because there's just so much going on, so I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Erin.
Thank you very
you
much.
for taking the time.
It was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that does it for this week. And as promised, I did download Wiser to check it out. And as Kelly said, it is very easy to share information. It's very low stakes, it feels like. It feels a lot more authentic and genuine than a lot of other social media apps. I'm interested to continue using it to see how the community develops and how I continue to seek out information on the app. So if that seems like something you're interested in, I definitely encourage you to download Wiser. Anyway, I will be back next week, but in the meantime, you can find me on Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads, and literally every other social media app, I guess, because that's just the way things are now. So see you next time.